Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
We are super excited because tomorrow we start our first trip of dry camping. So in the morning we are going to be leaving for our first experience dry camping with an RV.
Yes, we will have no electric hookups.
Tomorrow night and the next, we're actually staying at a Texas state park. But by the time we come back, we'll have about 8 or 9 nights where we've not had electric hookups and water hookups for most of that, for many of those nights. And so, for those of you who don't have any experience,
you're where we are right this minute.
And we want to show you what we're doing. And
before it becomes old hat to us and we forget some of the things you wonder about and you're curious about, and how long will those tanks last? And
so we've already made a video about prepping for dry camping, so we really feel like we're ready.
Yes.
But it's just that we haven't done it yet, you know, and it's we need to get
like
out there.
our first RV trip.
And so the things that we really are going to need to know on a continual basis: where can we get fresh water?
Where's the dump station?
And where can we empty those tanks? And so that's something that we've really planned for this trip because, like I said, it's our first time. With the first time of anything, we want to make sure it's a successful experience so that we have that to build on. So tomorrow night, we're going to come back to you, let you know we're set up, this is how things are working. And we're just going to kind of bring you that day-to-day stuff.
Yes.
And if you haven't watched our prepping for dry camping,
it'd be a great time to do that.
I will tell you, we have a 2200, we have an iGen 2200 Westinghouse generator. We may not be using that at all because we also have 300 watts of solar. We're going to be on a beach for part of this, and so we may not need that gas-powered generator at all, but we wanted to have it and make sure. So we're excited. We know that we can get some fresh water tomorrow, and we know where our first location is for a dump station. And so I think everything else is pretty much going to be standard, but you're welcome to come along and learn as we go. See you tomorrow. Okay, so day one of boondocking.
We've gotten here to Palmetto State Park.
And I'm going to show you this site in just a second. We're right here on this little pond. It's gorgeous. We have our solar panels out, so we are bringing in plenty of electricity, get our batteries all topped off great before the nighttime comes. And we have some water. We're going to go in and put a little water in our fresh water tank. And
we're set.
Enjoy the view. Okay, boondocking 101. We've had our first glitch, and that is we had put our solar panels out and we'd actually gotten quite a bit of sun. We should have been fine. The inverter should be able to carry it. As soon as I turned the microwave on, the inverter turned off. And so I'm not sure what the situation is there, but the guy who set it up for us will be getting a tech support call when we get some service. So we broke out the little generator, ran the microwave, and we'll get that shut off as soon as possible. But want to let you know, things don't always go exactly as you have planned, and you just got to kind of go with the flow. Okay, just to clarify, I don't think I've ever actually explained what happened. The first night that we were doing dry camping, we have a 4,000 watt inverter, 2,000 watt with 4,000 watt peak. Turned on a 900 watt microwave, and the inverter stopped, would not power back on. Tried to reset it, it wouldn't reset, and looked, and there's a giant 200 amp fuse that appeared to be blown. And so, okay, this is our
second day. No, third day.
We're actually not boondocking right now, is what I was going to say. We did have this morning was day 3. And we got by fine with using the generator and propane, and that was just one other thing I wanted to throw out there is that last night when we had just gotten into bed, the light was flashing to check the refrigerator, and so I went out to look, and it showed that we had run out of propane. So I flipped over to the other tank, went back in, and it still showed that. Went out and looked, and sure enough, it said both tanks were empty. I would have sworn whenever we picked this up that
They said they filled.
they said they'd filled them both, and I was almost sure I had checked the second one. Anyway, so we put some ice in the refrigerator, and it became an icebox. And we got by fine overnight. I got up this morning and went to take the tanks off, and the one on the passenger side was empty. The one on the driver's side was not. And as I started to undo it, I realized it wasn't screwed in good. And so it wasn't the safety thing shut it off. And so I just screwed it back in, and then we did actually have propane in that tank. But
And the saga of trying to find the fuse has continued.
we spent a day.
Yesterday.
It was just brutal, trying to find that fuse, and found out. What was frustrating was it was easy to find online. We all had a number of different choices online, but we weren't going to be anywhere more than just a couple of nights, and so to get it shipped to an address at the window we were going to be there was just a bit of a challenge.
And Amazon didn't like the address for this part.
So bottom line is, this morning I was in an Ace Hardware, and the man said, no, I can't even order it for you. And I explained the situation to him, that we were just having such a hard time trying to find somewhere where we could get this fuse, and that there aren't any Amazon drop boxes
Yeah.
where we're going to be down at Corpus. And so he said, well, if you're going to be here, you can just have it shipped here. And I said, we're not. And so he said, well, I'm sure the store down in Corpus will let you do it. It's even out on the island where you're going to be. And so I called him and explained the situation, and it took a couple of times to get through to talk to the right person, but thank you, Ace, for allowing us to use your shipping address to have a fuse sent so that hopefully we can do some dry camping there on the beach at Corpus Christi. So we'll let you know.
Well, we'll have to do dry camping.
Well,
on the
but with
beach.
solar, to have some solar to
Yes.
help with our dry camping on the beach there in Corpus. So it'll probably determine how long we dry camp on the
Yes.
beach in Corpus. So anyway, just wanted to kind of keep you updated as we're going along and let you know that shakedown trip was a great idea. We didn't have the generator, so we weren't actually dependent on the solar. And I'm just thankful that we're not on a 3-week-long trip, and
Yes.
we can always and I do want to say, the man that put the solar in for us offered to make a 6-hour drive down to our campsite, check out whatever was going on, and 6 hours back. And we told him, no,
No.
we got that Westinghouse generator as a backup, and we're going to be using it, so not a problem. So anyway, we're having a great time, and it's just all part of the adventure. Okay, we are at South Padre Island at the National Seashore, and we've seen the Gulf, but we need to fill up our water tanks before we go out and park. And they have this nice area here where they have fresh water for household use, but it does say you cannot wash your vehicles here. But anyway, we're going to fill up our tank and our freshwater tank, and then go find a place to camp.
Yeah. Okay, we are filling up here at the Malaquite campground, and the water here is clean, it's potable, it's to use for drinking. But in the same parking lot down just a ways, let me show you, it has your dump station. It's all right here together. And you don't have to go in the campground. It's before you get there. You've got dumping instructions here, and then the thing here that tells you it's not potable water.
Okay, we're ready for night 3 of boondocking. As you can tell, we have made it to South Padre Island National Seashore. and we are currently on the North Beach.
Yes.
And we're going to explain exactly how the different camping areas in this park work now that we've been here and have figured it out a little bit. But once again, if we weren't boondocking, we wouldn't have this out our front door.
This is our first morning here on the beach, and we've done beautifully. We didn't start the camp stove. It was easier to run the generator to get coffee and microwave our breakfast. It is windy here at the beach. We're doing great dry camping, no problems so far. We'll check back with you.
Okay, I did go to Ace and picked up the fuse that we had ordered, and online we couldn't see that there was a slight difference. The fuse is actually a 200 amp fuse, but one end of it, our fuse said 100 amp, and the fuse we bought says 200 amp. We're doing fine with just the generator, and so as a matter of fact, we're not going to need anything this evening. We have our lights, we have everything we're going to need for this evening. We'll run the generator a little bit in the morning, a little bit tomorrow afternoon probably, and we'll get by just great. So anyway, I am going to wait. It's going to be, we'll just be here probably about 3 days, 4 days, and we'll get by fine with the generator. So rather than taking a chance and putting something in that I don't know, wait and let the expert tell me. Okay, we are ready for our 5th night of dry camping, and with a view like that, that's, you know, it's certainly been worth the learning that we've had to do. We have run the generator morning and evening. With the waves, it's loud. We're enjoying it. It's awesome, but nobody else can hear our generator. There are people up and down the beach, but we have plenty of room, and no one's going to hear that generator, so we haven't hesitated to turn it on. We had planned on using the camp stove on the bed of the truck, but there's such a strong wind coming off of the Gulf that we decided it would just be better to hook up the generator and go on and use a microwave and coffee pot to warm things up. I mean, it was no big deal. We did at one point do both of those at the same time, and it overpowered the generator, so we just had to reset. No big deal, and we were back in business. So I would say this has been a highly successful learning curve. We've got tonight, and then we're going to have one more stop on our way home, and I'm going to put a huge success next to our boondocking, dry camping. Even though it didn't go like we planned, we have had an amazing time. But
Okay, we are on the last leg of this trip.
This is our 9th night on this trip, and the goal was to get in some experience dry camping or boondocking.
And we surely did.
Just to kind of a recap, we started at Palmetto State Park and spent 2 nights there with, we just filled the freshwater tank, so essentially we had no services there.
Then we went to Choke Canyon for 3 nights while we had electric and water.
And we actually extended that by 1 night.
Yeah. To make it 3, we had originally planned.
And then
2.
we spent 3 nights on the beach at Padre Island National Seashore, and wow, that was awesome. We are going to have videos about all 3 of those parks. And then our stopover on our way back home. By the way, Texas is huge. I mean, when you start at the coast and you're heading up, it's a long way.
And so we're at Fairfield State Park.
We came a little bit out of the way, but it's a gorgeous park. And we do have a review of this park already online. So,
and as far as the boondocking or dry camping goes, when Sharon first mentioned it, I thought she was crazy. We're going to go without anything, right? Well,
What attracted me to it was the thought of, okay, if we get the smaller RV, which we now have, if we can go without services, it opens up so many more places that we can go. Having the smaller RV is going to open up a lot, but that in combination with not needing hookups is a game changer.
When we had a problem with the solar at Palmetto, I thought, I knew this boondocking thing wouldn't work.
Sorry, that was really loud.
The generator took care of us just fine.
And I'll be honest, as you probably guessed, that first night when we had an issue, I wasn't happy, and I actually wasted our day that we could have been enjoying that gorgeous park looking for a way to troubleshoot, and it just didn't happen.
But part of that was to make me more comfortable. She knew that I wasn't 100% sold on it. After this, for our next trip, which we'll be doing a lot of dry camping.
Almost 2 weeks straight.
I'm ready.
And honestly, having that glitch, that problem, was good.
And it let us know it's okay. If we have a problem, it's okay.
And we can get by. And so, now I'm thinking, man, why did we wait? Once again, if you're not ready and you're not interested in doing any dry camping or any boondocking, that's fine.
I wasn't for a long
We've been
time.
doing this for 4 years, and we do not do this full time, but just, I tell people last summer we hit 16 state parks during 2.5 months that I was off.
Yes.
And so we do it pretty extensively when we can. And it took us 4.5 years to reach the point that we were ready to start. So, if you're not ready for it, that's fine.
But keep it in the back of your mind. It may be something you'll want to do down the road.
You can come along, travel with us, and enjoy our travels, and
see how it goes.
It may encourage you, or you may just say, and one thing I do want to mention, I wouldn't say that it's more work, I would just say it's different work.
Yes.
Instead of plugging into a electric pole, we were plugging into the generator, or we'll be plugging into the solar, so that worked the same. The water, once we had the water, it's just the water pump. I mean, it was, you're not connecting to anything. And then just keeping the refrigerator on propane and the hot water heater when we needed it, turn it on propane. And it was not more work.
No.
And so that's a good thing to know. And so just wanted to pass that along. We've had an awesome trip, and we are super geared up, and just kind of a sneak peek. If we haven't told you already, we will be doing the Natchez Trace and going from there to the Great Smoky Mountains, and that's going to be about 2 weeks long, and we won't have hookups for any of that. And so it's exciting, and we couldn't do it if we required hookups.
No.
And some of it we wouldn't be able to do nearly as well if we had a larger trailer. So
yes.
We hope that this is, if you have more experience than we do at boondocking, dry camping, etc., please leave us any tips or suggestions as to what you've learned over the years. And, it's just going to be a matter of conserving water going in and coming out, using those restrooms whenever they're available, and things like that. But we are really looking forward to it, and we'll see you down the road.
Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.
Okay, final thing about the solar, and when I was still at MiLena's house and we were just unhitching and stuff, I texted my friend and said, just to let you know, we're back in town and we'll be here for a couple of weeks. And he said, can I come down this afternoon? And so he did. We did some troubleshooting, and the answer is, we really don't know. What happened was he went on and used the fuses that I'd gotten, even though they were a little bit different. He knew what he was doing, so he put in a new fuse. And I started the microwave, and it did exactly the same thing. It just, 1 second, and it was, made this really weird sound. I stopped it, and he was looking at a multimeter and said that it had just plummeted. And so, bottom line is, we did a lot of testing. We turned a space heater on, and there were no issues. We turned the air conditioner on. Now, granted, it has an easy start, no problem whatsoever. We ran the microwave with an extension cord around and directly into the inverter. Same thing happened. We plugged the microwave with the extension cord into the generator. No problem. So all of that being said, he took down all the information about the microwave and calling the company where he got the inverter for us, and so he'll get it resolved. Now, this is one of the few situations where I'm going to say, if you're going to leave comments about the specifications and everything about electricity, that's really not going to mean much to me, and I'm sorry, but it won't. I appreciate all of you who have an interest in this, but that's why I went with the professional here in the first place, so that he could come down, troubleshoot, and he essentially left scratching his head saying he was going to get to the bottom of it. But just wanted to let y'all know that at this point we've isolated it to the microwave, and if, I told him, hey, you know what, we had a great time without any solar. So if the only glitch is, for right now, when we need the microwave, we turn on a generator, we're fine with that. So anyway, didn't want to leave you kind of hanging, even though we still don't really know what the problem is, other than the fact that that microwave and that inverter don't like each other. But we had a great trip, and we are looking forward to our next one.